Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakurazo here. Come in guys with another 5 cards I have in your trade binder for August. I know you guys love this series, so I'm bringing it back. I actually did it in July, but it was a Rarity Collection 2 edition, and I think that kind of went under the radar. I know the algorithm didn't pick it up too much well, so a lot of people probably didn't know that was a 5 cards I have your trade binder. So if you guys want more of that, hey, check it out. It'll be on the end card. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory what this series is about, but in case you're new, what this series is, I tell you guys 5 cards to pick up, and I tell you why, how many, and the reasons on why it's good to pick up. So kind of take this as a more in-depth pickup guide, if that makes sense. So before we get into it, if we get 100 likes on this video, I'll do a part 2 in August. If you guys are new to this series, usually I did 120 likes for a part 2, and believe it or not, we hit it sometimes. But I'm going to lower it down to like 100 likes here. In fact, you know what? I'll even do what you guys stuff for 90 likes. I'll do a part 2 in August. And we're going to get right into it. Subscribe if you've not already. If you're buying anything on TCG Players, my link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to no additional cost to you. And check out our other sponsors, Tapio cards and whatnot in the description below. Thank you to my YouTube channel members. We're going to get right into this. So the first card I have here is oil. Now, right now, these are $2. And I told people that this will go lower before it goes higher. And it's gone lower, and now it's probably going to start eventually going up higher. Now, what this card does is you target up to 2 level 4 or lower fire monsters with different names in your graveyard. You add them to your hand. And what's really good is it says up to, right? It doesn't say target 2, because if it said target 2, then it would be it'd be easier to interrupt this card. Since it's up to 2, the really good thing about this is since we are in the year of fire, we're getting a lot of good fire support to play this card. Now, the big thing about oil that people aren't looking at is since we have the year of fire and it eventually is going to end, people don't understand that because we have so much groundwork for fire cards like Promethean Princess, right? And a lot of other cards, as we get fire decks / more fire support in the future and archetypes and all that, oil can really be just a blockbuster easy +1 because this card just reads as a +1 for any fire deck, as well as it says 2 level 4 or lower fire monsters. And this is probably really weird thinking to some of you guys, but the cool thing about this is that technically you can add Ash Blossom back, which is just really dumb. It has to have different names. So imagine playing a fire deck, you're going first and they ash you at something crucial as your sucks and you have to pass, then they get to do combo activate oil and they get to add, honestly, a great interrupt with ash and another combo starter extender just to keep going further, right? It's a really awesome +1, easily a card where once it finds a fit, it'll probably jump up in price. I told people this would go down to $2 or $3 when it first came out, and a lot of people said, no, that's crazy, this card's insane. And as you see over here, it's kind of hard to show with pre-sales, but pre-sales were higher. These were about $5 here, and I thought $5 was actually still pretty good, but I just knew it was going to go further down. Now they're about $2 here. There are decks that have tested this. I've seen people attempt to test this in Snake Eye because they're like, huh, you know what, we could try this if X card gets banned, like Oak. And it wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh, this is gonna be used when Snake Eye gets hit. It's not good, but people were testing it. People were testing it in Salamangreat, as well for more recursion. And people are already testing this card in the background more and more. I just think that we need to find a deck where this is more of a, hey, this fixes a lot of problems, and this card can easily jump right up. Now, the second card I have here is the QC Dark Magician. And why am I telling you this? A lot of you might be thinking, oh, easy. It's because the QC went down to, $6, right? We should totally grab this because of that. Oh, because of nostalgia. Saki, we know why we should pick this up, but it's going to take a long time. Well, might not be that long, and the reason I'm saying that is because we have recently gotten Blue Eye support, as in with the OCG. We got the Link 1 announced, which is pretty good. People don't understand how good that Link 1 is because they don't play Blue Eyes, but we also don't know everything in the structure deck yet, so there you go. But the point is, whenever we got Blue Eye support, it was always followed up by Dark Magician support, like almost every single time. So a lot of these Dark Magician cards can easily start going up once we get more Dark Magician support, which will most likely happen pretty soon as, Konami's like, oh, we're going to make Blue Eyes good. We're going to make Dark Magician good again. It happens like every couple years where they release support for them back to back. It's history repeating itself. And when it does, if people want to play their Dark Magician, they're going to need their vanillas. They're probably going to just be like, hey, why not play an awesome looking QC for $5-6? Now, some of them might have like their old GBA promos. Some of them might want to play a structure deck or, something cool. Some of them might want to even pick up that structure deck ulti. But I think a lot of people are just going to be like, you know what? If I can use a QCR, I'm going to use a QCR because let's be real, QCRs are extremely popular. People love those. People like them more than ulti. Which still shocks me this day, but right now they're like $6 here, and this was always a very good pickup, but I just think it's rather sooner than later. But I also want to kind of combine it with another Dark Magician that a lot of people aren't looking at, which is the Shonen Jump magazine promo. Now, the scan here isn't the best, but this card looks amazing. And personally, if you guys don't know, this is my favorite Dark Magician artwork. By far is the Shonen Jump magazine promo. This clears every Dark Magician, in my humble opinion. By far, when it comes to artwork, it would be the only thing I personally run. But I know the market is going to gravitate towards that $5 to $6 QCR. However, the light plays for this are 38, going up to 50 with the near mints here. If we actually go filters, let's just go near mints here. Near mints are 63, going up to about 105 here. So these near mints are going up, even though there's that wall here at 20. Getting those lightly plates are not bad at all. Remember, this is the signed Shonen Jump copy. This is very safe because even if they reprint this artwork as a beautiful secret rare, this is still the Shonen Jump promo. People are going to be like, nope, this is the promo for back in the day, right? This is signed, right? They're probably never going to re-release this artwork anyway, or if they do, it's not going to be with the signature, I think. But absolutely not with the signature. But even if somehow they do, it's still the Shonen Jump version. It's still the first of this alt-art kind. People are going to see this as the OG. The third card I have here is Frame Gear Delta. Now, this is a hand trap that comes in and out of the format, and I remember when people were spending, no joke, $15 to $16 on rares, and that was within 365 days, right, within a year. And this is a hand trap that goes up and down. And there's not a lot of these on the market because people not only need 3, but OTS 25 kind of sucks. And people are rather opening up older OTS because it's just more worth it. Because, yeah, you could get probably a better ulti out of 25 most likely. But it's not by much. And the ultis are just bad all around. So deltas aren't as well as the supers in OTS 25. Aren't as well accessible as a lot of other OTS supers by a month and a half or 2 months in. This card is great since it literally can negate a spell and the activation and then destroy it. This card's at 3, unlike Gamma, that's at 1. I also think this is more safe from rarity collection because if they decide to do anything with Frame Gear, they're probably going to give it to Gamma, and they're probably going to put Gamma up, which has a potential that we see this played with Gamma as well. Now, these are $2 for your copies. I think that's really good because a place at 6 is good since rares were always around this price anyway. The supers could easily be 5 or 6. And I think with the new format and how even, some pro players have said this, right? Like, Joshua Schmidt. A deck is as powerful, as strong as its spells are. Now, I am butchering what he said completely, by the way. But strong spells make a deck, essentially. And Delta is something that could really put a stop to that. So I think supers at $2 are great. Now, the fourth card I have here is Meow Mind. Now, Meow Mind is a very underrated card, in my opinion, because it has so much going for it for being not only a good meta card, but collector as well. Now, it's level 2, so it has a lot of synergy with stuff similar to like Sprite and all that. A deck that can easily come back next format because not only is it a great deck still, it's got its power back, but it will get stronger if the meta gets weaker. It's one of those decks right now, and Meow Mind is played in that deck. As well as it has IP Masquerena on it, and you guys don't want to admit it because you'll seem old, but Chaos Impact was, I think, a 2017 set. No, I gotta be wrong. It's not 2017. It's gotta be 2018. It's gotta be. But point is, IP came out a long time ago, and it is iconic. People look at IP as a waifu card or like someone who is seen in Yu-Gi-Oh quite a bit. So she has collectability, and she's on this card. right? And it's the only card I believe she's on besides like a few other cards. But I think this is like the best card she's on besides, IP itself. Now, this card is really, really good in my opinion because it is not only an extender, but it's an interrupt as well. Being able to special summon this card from your hand, if a link monster essentially exists on the field or graveyard, and that's either one, is really, really good, right? The fact that you special this and you can immediately link off and it has no types of restrictions whatsoever. So you can use this as, oh, we could, sync, we could do this, we could do that. However, if this card is in your graveyard, and link 2 monster you control is sent to the graveyard or banished face up. Essentially, you're just leaving the field, which is really good. You could target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So what's really good about this is that when you make your board with this as an extender, you have another interrupt in your grave that could be crucial because sometimes, let's say it was a pop, your opponent could still play through it, plus whatever. A bounce is a little different. So sometimes, depending on how well you know the format, you bounce a crucial part as they're breaking your board, and it's a wrap. And that's kind of how this is. So you can choose when to activate this. So you have an interrupt in your grave when you need it in a way, right? You could crash something or, hit something, take a little bit of damage, get an effect off, plus Meow Mind, right? You could do some very cool things with this while it's in the graveyard. And I think that's absolutely cool. Right now these QCs are $26, and Konami is not going to reprint quarters entries. I don't think Meow Mind's even going to be reprinted as something as a higher rarity than a QC. I don't see it happening. However, they would somehow do that. So $26 for this card is really good, especially because Phantom Nightmare, I mean, that's a set that was opened up quite a bit here. We don't have as much Shield Phantom Nightmare as people think. I mean, look at this, 14 boxes, $90, $100. Remember, this set was good. It was great when it came out. It was very popular. It did what it's supposed to. It still has value even right now, even though it's a lot less. And yeah, Meow Minds at 26 are really good. Now, the last card I have here is Artifact Ignition. And the reason I have this here is because half format and older formats in general are getting more popular. People want to play Time Wizard, aka Edison, at I think one of our recent YCSs, and it had 478 players, which is insane for side events, right? Players are so sick and tired of the game that they love older formats. They love to have it. They love, it takes more skill. A lot of older formats do. I'm sorry, but it just does. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh can't hold a candle to older formats when it comes to, skill. It's more of mesmerizing combos in certain interactions. That's just how I personally feel. If you disagree or agree, you can let me know in the comment section below. Remember, 100 likes on this video, or 90, let's say 90 likes. I'll do a part 2. Also, I'm not a financial advisor. Just in case anyone's wondering that. Artifact Ignition, though, it's used in hat format, and it is a staple, because if you guys don't know, hat format stands for Hands, Artifacts, Trap Tricks. And that was the best deck, quote-unquote, to play back during hat format. And Artifact Ignition is a card that honestly got a reprint quite late back in 2019, because that's when Battles of Legends Armageddon came out. And this is the only way to really access this card. And you see 66 listings. If Konami ever does something with artifacts again, which who knows if they will, this card can easily go up. They're about 50 cents, going up to $1 right now. But the sales history here is quite interesting, because you can look down here and like this card is selling a lot. Like you guys see a lot of most of these are like play sets, 4 copies, right? Some are singles, sure, but a lot of them are play sets. And this card is selling at hard case. You have the OGs here, which I actually pulled up because a lot of players are going to want to play with the OG. And now the OG is actually about a decade old, because I believe Primal Origin is a 2014 set, like a later 2014 set. $2 here, $3 for your OGs. And they do quickly go up, so people will like the OG copies or the copies that were available back then. If you guys don't know this about older players and older formats, a lot of them are like, well, I want max rarity of what max rarity was back then. Oh, I want to play the cards that we had back then, just in case I have to read the text. That's the text of the format, which is very true. I mean, some people are like, hey, it's kind of like how there are certain rulings for older formats. Hey, I'd rather have an older version like Sangan, right? So that I don't forget Sangan effect. That's something, for example, that happened with me. I would forget Sangan effect while playing Edison because I was used to eroded and new Sangan, not the older Sangan. But when I finally got my, I believe it was my Dark Beginnings Sangan, I want to say it was Dark Beginnings or Turbo Pack, one of the two. I ended up being like, oh, now I remember because I'm playing old Senga. So people like playing older cards for a lot of reasons. So you have the OG print at $3, which isn't bad here, but you also have the secrets. Personally, I would just pick up the secrets. People are really gonna like them. There's gonna be a lot of new players for hat format, and these are a lot more accessible and cheaper right now. Although if you want to grab yourself these OGs before they go up because they do have very low listings, you're not putting yourself in a bad position either. With that being said, leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Remember, 90 likes, I'll do a part 2 in August. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this 5 cards out of your trade binder. I did kind of switch from the editing style that I usually do to this, honestly, they're a lot easier to pump out that way. The quality is just a little bit better as well, I feel, because I really need to up my editing quality. Definitely not where I want to be for 5,000 subs personally, but I mean, I guess it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It doesn't take as much high editing anyway. I guess if you look back at old Yu-Gi boomers, you can really tell. But I don't want to rant too long. Let me know what your favorite card was to pick up and what cards I should pick up or have in this series next. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.